Imagine you just spent hours perfecting a piece of art. The shading is flawless, the details look alive, you're getting appreciation, and you finally feel like you've created something amazing. Then, while scrolling social media at midnight, you see a hadith that says, "The people who will receive the severest punishment from Allah on the day of resurrection will be the picture makers." That isn't even a daif narration, that's graded as sahih. But before you panic, you need to understand the actual science of Islamic jurisprudence. Today, we are dropping the emotional internet debates and breaking down the exact rules, the authentic exceptions, and how to keep your creativity 100% halal. Let's get into it. You have to understand why this topic is treated with such extreme gravity by the scholars. The warnings aren't just about drawing. They are about theology. It comes down to two major spiritual crimes: idolatry and imitation of creation. In a hadith recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that Allah says, "Who is more unjust than one who tries to create anything like my creation? Let them create an ant, or a grain of wheat, or a grain of barley." When a human being tries to perfectly sculpt or draw a living, breathing creature with a soul, like a human or an animal, they are stepping into a territory that belongs exclusively to the Creator. You are trying to mimic the divine design. And to prove how helpless we actually are, the Prophet ﷺ explicitly stated in another authentic narration that on the Day of Judgment, these artists will be ordered to breathe a soul into their creations, and they will absolutely fail. This is why across all major schools of thought, physical statues, 3D sculptures of living beings, and hyper-realistic physical paintings of humans and animals are strictly forbidden. The text is clear. There is no grey area when you are literally molding an imitation of life with your own hands. But here is where the internet gets it twisted. We are no longer just carving stone in the desert or painting on physical canvas. We live in the era of iPads, digital pixels, and AI generation. Does a glowing pixel on a screen fall under the exact same ruling as a carved idol? This is where you need to understand the logic of contemporary Islamic jurisprudence. A massive body of modern scholars argue that digital art and photography do not actually fall under the classical definition of creation. Why? Because a digital image isn't a physical creation. It is trapped light. It is a reflection manipulated by binary code. If you turn off the screen or the battery dies, the image completely ceases to exist. It has no physical mass, no shadow, and takes up no space in the real world. Because of this, scholars state that digital drawing is more akin to looking into a mirror or capturing a reflection, rather than competing with Allah's physical creation. However, and this is a massive however, if you take that hyper-realistic digital drawing of a human being and hit print, pulling it out of the digital world and making it a physical, permanent object in your house, you have just crossed right back into the classical prohibition. The medium changed, but the end result became physical. Now, what about 2D animations? What about the educational cartoons you show your kids, or the simple stickman reels you see online? Obviously, digital animation and iPads didn't exist 1,400 years ago. So, to find out if modern cartoons are halal, scholars have to look at how the Prophet ﷺ handled the closest equivalent in his time. And this is where the nuance of the Sunnah is absolutely beautiful, and it completely dismantles the "everything is haram" argument. In Sahih al-Bukhari, Aisha radiallahu anha narrated that she used to have dolls in the very presence of the Prophet ﷺ. Even deeper than that, in Sunan Abi Dawood 4932, she used to have a toy horse that had wings made of cloth. When the Prophet ﷺ saw it, he smiled so widely his molar teeth showed, and he asked, "A horse with wings?" Aisha radiallahu anha replied, "Did you not hear that Sulaiman alayhi salam had horses with wings?" The Prophet ﷺ laughed. He did not destroy the toy. He did not forbid it. Now, why are modern scholars using a hadith about a physical 3D toy to allow a 2D cartoon? It comes down to a legal principle called qiyas. Physical 3D objects are the most strictly forbidden category of art in Islam. Scholars look at this hadith and say, if the Prophet ﷺ made a specific exception for a 3D physical object, because it was highly stylized, didn't look like a real animal, and served a harmless purpose for children, then a 2D digital animation, which isn't even a physical object, easily falls under this exact same exception. As long as the animation follows the same rules as that toy, meaning it is heavily stylized, lacks hyper-realistic detail, and serves an educational or harmless purpose, it does not compete with Allah's creation. It is a tool, not an idol. So, how do you know if the art you are consuming or creating is actually safe? Stop arguing in comment sections and just run your work through this 4-point Sharia checklist. Rule 1. The faceless exception. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, one of the greatest scholars among the Sahaba, famously said, "The image is the head. If the head is cut off, it is no longer an image." If you remove the detailed facial features, the eyes, nose and mouth, or use a completely blank template, it removes the art from the category of a living soul. Rule 2. The stylization scale. The further your art is from reality, the safer it is. Minimalist shapes, exaggerated 2D cartoons, and simple figures do not attempt to rival Allah's creation. Rule 3. Nature is always halal. You want to draw something incredibly detailed? Draw mountains, oceans, trees, galaxies, or architecture. The Prophet ﷺ explicitly allowed the drawing of anything that does not possess a soul. Rule 4. The purpose test. Even if your digital art is perfectly stylized and faceless, what are you using it for? If you are drawing things to promote vulgarity, haram stuff, or concepts contrary to Islam, it becomes forbidden based on the action and the message, not just the medium. Let's drop the extreme mentalities. Islam does not hate creativity. Islam protects your theology. The restrictions on art are not there to crush your talent. They are there to remind you of your absolute limitation as a human being. Allah is Al-Khaliq, the Creator. We are just observers trying to make sense of the beauty He already made. If you are an artist, an animator, or a digital creator, don't use your canvas to build a case against yourself on the Day of Judgment. Strip away the hyperrealism. Remove the detailed living faces. Ultimately, I am just a human trying to navigate these reminders, and anything correct I've said is from Allah, and any mistakes are entirely my own. May Allah forgive me if I have made any mistakes in presenting this, and may He guide us all to what pleases Him.